The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it, Roadshow Friday. It is Nebraska. It is Creighton. We are here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino right outside Amerisports. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, Justice Rhody, duct taped back in studio and getting you geared up. Nebraska-Creighton tonight, 7 o'clock, CHI, Nebraska-Creighton going on now. The women at SoCo Auditorium. And we are here for it. Plenty of awesome things to chat about today. Nebraska-Creighton, Nebraska-Wisconsin. Two teams, if you wear red, you want to hammer. We'll see if it follows through. Numbers to get in, 489-1240. 489-1240. 800-825-5865. So we're here right outside Amerisports till 6. You want to put some heat down on Nebraska-Creighton, cross the river. Get your happy backside over here to Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino as we're excited to be here. A couple of things to tell you about. It is buffet time. That is crab legs I'm talking about here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. That gets rolling at 4. The breakfast buffet undefeated on Sundays, steak and shrimp Saturdays. Just so you know, also the $100,000 Dream Car giveaway, that grand prize finale here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, that drawing coming up November 30th. This hour, former Nebraska basketball assistant Jeff Smith going to be with us to talk Nebraska-Creighton. Jacob Padilla from Hail Varsity and Herd Sports will check in from SoCo with the women's game. Bill Dolman, Pride of Fairbury, the professor in hour 2. Brian Christopherson with Husker 24/7 Sports at 5:25, and then he's imaginary. He wears red, Clausborne, and the forecast will be here. Elijah, how you doing? Good to be seated next to you here. It's awesome to be back here at Amerisports here in Council Bluffs 2 weeks in a row. You were out in La La Land last week. We got you back across the river, a lot of football to hit, some Nebraska basketball thoughts. You have the pen play sheet to my left, to your right. We have got to do that dreaded, and we want your help, Hail Varsity parlay of the night.
I think we go 3 legs today. 3?
You don't want to go 4. You don't want to do 3 football and hoops?
The problem is the last 2 times you and I have both been out here and thrown together a parlay.
I chickened out on KU. I chickened out on Wisconsin last week, and I didn't have a third good feel.
Yeah.
Probably would have been Arizona State.
The thing is, the last 2 times that you and I have both been out here, we've gone with 4-leg parlays, and we've gone
paid.
We've gone
it would have paid.
And we've gone 3 for 4 on both. So I think we cut that 4th leg today. We go for 3, and it's guaranteed to hit.
3?
Yeah. Well, we got to pick the 3 right ones this time. But
we'll take your suggestions. Always welcome to do that in the Stream Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Like and subscribe there. Hail Varsity Radio Twitter can follow. We're also streaming on Hail Varsity Facebook and Hail Varsity Twitter as well. Great to be with you on a Friday, 489-1240. So a lot to get into. I love the jerseys. Friday is a great feel here at Ameristar. You got all the folks that work here. They're rocking their favorite jerseys. You see a lot of Travis Kelce's. You see a lot of Patty Mahomes. See a few Husker jerseys.
I haven't seen a Bo Nix jersey yet. Weird how that works.
That's shocking, right? You'll see an Elway before you see a Bo Nix. You do see LT wandering around here. There's a Giants fan, bless his heart, that is making sure that the men in blue are being represented. And I'll say this too. I had a chance last Friday to go eat at the 1853 Bistro and Bar. The Templeton tastes great there. The filet was undefeated. It was so good. Buddy Nitro's birthday was last Friday. So he and his wife, Katie, we went out and had a big old steak after the show.
Is that his given name? Nitro?
Nitro was the nickname given to him in high school. Pride of Elgin, Nebraska, played fullback and linebacker, did Mr. Nate Dickerson. But then we went to play a little blackjack, and it was good for a while.
I'm telling you.
And then the dealer won.
That's why a couple weeks ago, I played my 2 games and I got out.
Does it represent tomorrow? You see some good parts, but in the end, ultimately, it's the same old for Nebraska football. I say this, man. I say my biggest concern tomorrow isn't Nebraska's ability to stop the run. It's not Nebraska's ability to run the football. It's not even Dylan where he's at from a turnover standpoint against what Wisconsin's quarterback play has done turnover-wise. It's that locker room, and it's that morale in the locker room because it was such a hard loss last week. They have been through the meat grinder. They've been through the meat grinder now 2 Novembers in a row, and you can kind of sense and feel it with Matt Rule, just how he looked yesterday. He knows, and he said at the start of the week that this is one of the biggest weeks for him in his coaching career, and he's not wrong. They got to find it somehow tomorrow, and there's ways to do it. But this is the third wounded team coming in. USC was a mess. They got to win. UCLA was kind of in dire straits, right? They come in and pound you right after you gave everything, man, against Ohio State. And, you know, you can always go revisionist history. You can always go 20/20 hindsight and circle that Ohio State game as is that the tip over or the turning point? And it didn't end up being the turning point the following week because you got worked by UCLA. And then you didn't rebound against a team in USC. And now here comes Wisconsin, coordinator change, the world in Milwaukee and beyond. Once they're sick of the fickle act already. And now if you're Nebraska, you got to take advantage, man. You got to send your seniors out the right way. And can these young guys there's going to be young guys playing in the secondary, man, that need to step their game up. And you got injuries. And you've got a senior class that's been through this same ringer, not just 2 Novembers in a row, but quite frankly, their entire career. And they kept showing up to work, bless their heart. So this is really do or die tomorrow for Nebraska football because no matter what Iowa has, it's still going to be really tough at Kinnick at 6:30.
And to dive into the psyche here of Nebraska really fast, because we've spent a little bit of time this week talking about, well, what's the psyche of Wisconsin football? Hasn't been the season they wanted. We heard it from Barry. I mean, inconsistency has been the name of the game for Wisconsin.
And their own doing.
It's been their own doing. Now your offensive coordinator's out the door. Are they inspired by that move or are they dejected by that move? That's a question you have to ask. We haven't spent much time talking about the psyche of Nebraska. Huge question mark there because let's be honest, a lot of Husker fans like what you hear from Holgorsen. If you're a guy on a roster, do you respond the right way whenever a guy comes in and tells you, hey, you guys are embarrassing the way you're blocking on the outside. Hey, you running backs, you guys can't hit a hole. You guys can't make a man miss. How do you respond to that? What is the morale of the Husker locker room, as you said, right now going into this game? Also knowing your losing streak whenever you have an opportunity to get bowl eligible is that 7 or 8? 9? All of last November. Now, since you got to 5 this year, you've been on the losing streak. That's all you know right now is getting to 5 and losing football games. At what point do you say, you know what?
Stop listening.
Exactly. You stop listening and say, you know what? It's not what we're doing. Something ain't right here whenever you keep on getting to 5 wins and you can't get over that hump. Like, at what point does the team's morale just drop? That's the question I have on a Friday.
And you made a change to change the message and get a new voice in Holgorsen. And what you can't do, you can be a certain personality as the head coach. And Matt Rule talked about it yesterday. Can't be as blunt as maybe a coordinator can. That's Dana. That's how Dana's going to roll. That's why he was brought in to help fix. But if you're Matt Rule, you can't be that heavy. For lack of a better term. But what you can't do is is change you can't change the way you manage. You can't be soft is too strong of a word, but you can't be more let it go and then all of a sudden change the personality to be a hard ass. Okay. You got to be one or the other. You got to be consistent. And Matt Rule's always talked about being the same guy, good or bad. And I think he tries to do that, but he's had to kick this team in the backside a little bit, especially some of the older guys they brought in to alleviate the youth and inexperience. Those guys haven't been consistent. They are, in my view, I think, and he said it yesterday as well. Rule said that, look, guys were blaming Sat, so it's not me. Well, now they're being told it is you.
Yep.
How do you respond to that? If you're a grown up, and 18 to 22-year-olds grow up at different times in their life, how do you respond the right way to it? So it's one thing for Dana to say it because Dana's going to be Dana, but your head coach really since UCLA has said, guys, go make plays, and your head football coach is not wrong. You've got to go make plays, but that wasn't necessarily the lingo after Illinois. That wasn't the lingo after Indiana, right? It's now turned into the lingo of, all right, you guys got to go make plays. What we're calling is there. Now you go execute. Where's the morale after a couple, 3 weeks of hearing that you guys got to go make plays? And if you have some guys on the team that are okay looking in the mirror, great. But you need 11 on each side of the football that are on the same page looking in that mirror versus wanting to point a finger.
And let's use a big story from this week as an example. I'm going to go Malachi Coleman here. Everyone's heard the rumors out there that are flying around, cannot explicitly confirm them. There's been no official confirmation, but I tend to believe, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb here, where there's smoke, there's fire. And whenever there's enough people talking about it and not anyone shooting down rumors, there hasn't been Malachi hopping on Twitter saying, this isn't true, or Malachi's family or Coach Matt Rule. No one's hopped on and said, oh, yeah, we've heard these rumors. They're not true. So where there's smoke, I tend to believe there's fire. Is the Malachi Coleman situation a one-off in the locker room, or is that indicative of how a lot of guys are feeling? You know what? Saying this season's done for. I'm ready to pack it in. I'm ready to preemptively say I'm going to be going into the portal and I'm done for this season.
How many are going
that's
into the portal in December?
That's the question. That's kind of why my sentiment on this game has flipped in a way, is because I don't think it's just one guy. I don't believe that. And I know Malachi's a specific example because this season has not gone how Malachi's wanted it to go. I wouldn't be surprised if the playing time he got this year was a real downer to him. I mean, that's expected whenever you're an 18 to 22-year-old that's expected to come in and contribute. And you know what? You're going to be redshirted. You're not seeing the field the way you expect. That's going to happen. But the question is how many other guys on that roster right now are feeling the same way, and how many of those guys are rubbing off on their teammates? Because that's got to be a reality right now whenever it's a season like this where Matt Rule hops up there preseason and says he's really high on what this team can be, and now you're in late November and you're 5-5 and you're staring down the barrel of a gun of another season not making a bowl game. What's the morale right now?
No, morale needs to be good. Nebraska needs to have good things happen early. You can't let Wisconsin believe and hang around. You yourself got to believe if you get into a tight ball game. And right now, what are we at? 1.5. Nebraska's favored. It can go great or terrible for you tomorrow. If you're Nebraska. If Wisconsin gets you down or they get up. I mean, USC was ready to tap out. You kept them around. You didn't make some plays. The other thing I look at too is, in a locker room, you need. Listen, Lawrence Taylor, the second Lawrence Taylor reference this first segment, but Bill Parcells treated Lawrence differently because Lawrence Taylor was incredible. You have that Sioux treatment, if you will, in some locker rooms because the guy's going to help you win and you're okay with it. But some guys that may have not helped you win or have been kind of pumped up as being NFL draft picks, they have been really up and down. And if you're younger guys or even teammates, are you seeing that and saying, dude, why is this guy getting X, Y, and Z? Why are they allowed to slide by, but not me? So what's your consistency like in a college locker room?
Yeah. Now, quickly here on the flip side of this entire discussion is a mood can flip on senior day. Guys can play inspired because you realize
have something good and just start rolling.
You realize whenever you're walking out of that tunnel, hey, this is my last time walking out of this tunnel. Let's make something happen. This has been a downer-ish segment from us here on a Friday.
We're just asking the question because we've talked a lot about Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's about
reality.
Nebraska between their ears.
I mean, we talked about the fact that these teams are very similar football teams, where they're at, how their seasons have gone. We can't sit here and say, man, I don't know how Wisconsin's going to respond, because the reality is you don't know what the mindset, the mentalities within that Husker locker room, how are they going to respond?
What's the old, someone ripped up the old Ted Lasso Believe sign above coach's room or not? We'll see. We'll get Jeff Smith's take on Nebraska-Creighton coming up. Also, Jacob Padilla. Quick shout out here for our starting five. All of you, we love you in the stream. Appreciate you. Hail Varsity YouTube, where you like and subscribe. Justin in first. Jeremiah Jones ain't going nowhere. That's big in the recruiting world. Jeff Snitley, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. We hope to see the Snitley boys tomorrow when we're at the Single Barrel, noon to 2 for the weekend edition of Hail Varsity. Grateful Red is in. Uncle Larry is here. Good to have you. Roger checks in. Moonbot says, howdy, nerds. Appreciate that. Anonymous, we'll get to some of your comments as well as you have checked in. Bruce in from Spearfish. Good to have you. Captain is here. Steven is in. More shout-outs coming. QB1 Ace also in the stream.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Herd at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
New prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Time to tell you about Lincoln Weight Loss and their huge holiday 30% off sale with the lowest prices of the year. Now through December 31st, while supplies last. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Sign up now to get the discount, and you can start the program before, during, or after the holidays. You'll keep the weight off for good with the revolutionary program. No more losing weight and then gaining it back. Go to LincolnWeightLoss.com now for details. I'm living proof that this program works. I lost all the weight in just a couple of weeks, and I've kept it off for over a year. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the year with this huge holiday sale. 30% off while supplies last. Do the program in person or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation now. 402-520-8170. That's LincolnWeightLoss.com.
Live, local, in our community. The KFOR Sportscasters Club has long been a supporter of young athletes and academics in Lincoln and Lancaster County. Follow your favorite team on air and online at KFORnow.com. Powered by Lincoln Electric System and Forsyth Insurance. Stay connected to Lincoln and Lancaster County High School athletics on FM 101.5, 1240 AM KFOR.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you. We're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, just outside Amerisports. You want to get a little action in on Nebraska-Creighton basketball. Jumped from 3.5 to 10.5. Big Blue favored over the Fighting Friends.
And you did call that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. We'll see if I'm wrong. A guy who knows everything about basketball. He is fantastic. Longtime head coach of Lincoln Southeast, longtime assistant coach for Danny Nee in Nebraska basketball. Jeff Smith with us here on Hail Varsity. Coach, it's Nebraska-Creighton. It tips off here at 7. How are we doing today?
Doing great. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing awesome. I got to ask you, you had a student named Justice in your coaching basketball class, I believe, last semester. What kind of pain in the neck was this student?
I think he was one of the good ones. In fact, it's a great class. Most of these guys want to learn and love talking basketball, and he was one of them. And I think his grade was better in K-Says. I think.
All
if I
right.
remember right.
Love that.
Is that public information?
Oh, no, take that out.
Dump button. I love it. Coach, what do you think tonight? You've seen Nebraska. They're trying to bounce back after a tough one. They put a lot of energy into coming back and making it close against St. Mary's. The over-under on fire alarm polls last night was at 4.5. Hopefully Nebraska hit the under. They did not in Sioux Falls. But as you look at this roster,
I thought we were playing Missouri again with all those fire alarms. That was
how many times did the old Antlers pull the fire alarm on you guys?
Yeah, yes, they did. So I wondered if there was some offspring of Antlers in supporting St. Mary's or something. I don't know what's going on.
Man, that was nuts.
Yeah, that's not fun.
But,
not fun.
No, it wasn't. And, Nebraska was a little sluggish to start, but you got to be better from 3. Got to be better taking care of the basketball. I ask you, as you look at this matchup, who needs to really thrive tonight for Nebraska against Creighton? And do you like Nebraska matching up against what Creighton has this year?
I like them better than last year. That's for sure. Both teams are still kind of trying to find themselves. I thought, going back to St. Mary's just a little bit, I thought, I wasn't at the game, but watched on TV, but I thought they looked extremely talented, not deep, but their top 6 or 7 were talented. And I think they're a top 25, top 20 team. And they've shown that the last few years, beating Gonzaga and winning that league. And they kind of jumped on us, but I did like our competitive spirit coming back. I liked our physicality to get back in that game. I think some guys showed out a little bit more, Bear Case specifically. And so to me, that was kind of encouraging. And I think that was probably a really good learning game. You'd rather learn in a win than a loss sometimes, but I think it'll help us tonight. I really do. But as far as the Creighton matchup, Kalkbrenner obviously having an unbelievable year, averaging, 25.8 a game. And then the quiet guy right now is Ashworth. He's improved a lot from last year, and he's averaging 16 a game and shooting 45% from the 3. Both those guys' percentages, 2s and 3s are just huge. So I think Nebraska needs to start with transition defense. I just don't think you can give up. Jemiah Neal is really good. The kid from Arizona State, really good in the open floor. If you can get it down to a half-court game and not let them get easy ones, it's going to give you a little better chance. And then I think we can with our depth, I think we can really look at physicality and I don't care if you take a few fouls on Kalkbrenner. I know he's a good free throw shooter, but just try to wear him down with 2 or 3 guys. And, a guy like Mia can do that. I think Morgan can do that. I think even Bearcay can guard him some. So I think we have some depth inside. And you just can't let Ashworth get open looks. He's 29 of his 35 shots are 3s. He's only taken 6 shots that are 2s. So you got to run him off the 3-point line. You've got to chase over screens. You can't go under. And I would even post him up a little bit with the bigger guards that we have. And then with Kalkbrenner, you can't let him beat you up the floor and get those easy ones. I think Nebraska doubles the post anyway, so I think that's a good thing with him. and you can't let him in the pick and rolls. You can't let him get those lob dunks because, again, they're just too easy. I think you've got to work to really hard to out-rebound them. We've got to make some threes. We can't shoot. We're shooting 25% right now, and I believe Fred, when I've seen a couple practices, I think they can shoot it better than that. But they got to do it tonight when the popcorn's popping, and they can't beat top 20, top 25 teams shooting 25% from the three. You just can't. You have to make some threes. Hopefully we can post some others, not Kalkbrenner, although he's still going to be rim protection. And I think the first 8 minutes of this game are absolutely crucial. Last year, it was over in 8 minutes. So if we can, use our physicality and use our pace of play a little bit to our advantage, handle the ball well against them and knock a couple early shots down, I think we'll have a chance.
Coach Jeff Smith with us here talking Nebraska-Creighton. They tip off tonight at 7. And Coach, whenever you look at this game, you talked about doubling the post. Nebraska does that a lot. They've been doing that under Fred Hoiberg. I think this is a game you have to against Kalkbrenner. You can't let that guy beat you. Last year, it was Baylor Shireman who really beat you. He turned into a bit of a flamethrower behind the three at one point in that game, and it really ended the game for Nebraska. Does Creighton have that kind of three-point shooting this year that scares you in the same way, where if you do double down, they're going to find the open guy for three and they're going to knock it down? Because that's what the story of the game was last year in my eyes.
Yeah, they shot 37% from the three last year. They're shooting 31.5 this year. You can't replace Shireman, especially this early in the season. You just can't replace Alexander and Shireman, 37 points a game. So no, I'm not. And that's something that I would say those other guys got to knock shots down against us. Even if there's some threes, you're still going to try to close out and make them challenge shots. But Neal's only shooting 22% from the 3-point line. Pop Isaacs is 29, and they were both in the 20s, with Arizona State and Texas Tech respectively. Isaac Trout shooting 33%, and he's one of the higher ones besides Ashworth. So they have not shown that they are that level shooting the ball. So I think that's advantage Nebraska when you do double this year. Just get Ashworth off the 3-point line, and I think that gives you a chance to make somebody else try to beat you from out there. Trout is capable. Creighton's kind of a funny team, though, because they have a great post, an All-American post. They have the point guard that's playing much better than they did last year and understands how they need to play. But then they have like 3-4 men they're trying to play. And then they don't really have a backup three for Neal. They don't really have a true backup for Isaacs. They're a little guard thin. I know they have a kid they're trying to get eligible with the NCAA right now, but I think Jason Green has tried to slide down and play some three, and he's only shooting 25% from the three. Mason Miller hasn't hardly played. He was a starter last year. And then it's just kind of they're just thin in the guard spots and inexperienced after Ashworth. So, maybe that can be to our advantage. And then they do have a 5-star freshman, but he's not a guard. Jackson McAndrew, a 6'9" kid, and he's another kind of 4 type. So they're really overloaded at the 4. Their 5s are good, their starting point guard's good, but they're just not as deep, and especially I think they're thin at the guard spots.
Jeff Smith with us here, longtime Nebraska assistant, knows this Nebraska-Creighton rivalry as Big Red plus 10.5. They are underdogged here. Let's talk about Jawan Gary. Had a tough offensive night against St. Mary's. Always brings it defensively, but that 1-2 punch of him and Bryce, they're the last two standing from this tournament team with lots of minutes. He's kind of my barometer, man, defensively, and what can he give you on offense? What's a good night for Jawan, Coach Smith, as he wants to go 2-1 in his career against Creighton?
Yeah, a good night to me is shutting down Jeremiah Neal on the defensive end and getting double-figure rebounds. I love it when he's pinning shots against the glass, and he's playing that with that kind of athleticism that he has. For me, Jawan, if his scoring's just not first on his list, if he is worried, if he's prioritizing his defensive abilities, his rebounding abilities, running the floor, driving the ball more than shooting threes probably. And I know he can make some, but I just think if those other areas are his priorities, and that's what he's getting reaching his goals in those areas and having some basketball satisfaction doing those things, and just let that three come to him when he's in his rhythm, when he's toeing the line, when his time and score is right. That will help us tremendously. But he's got to have that. He's got to have that edge. When he has that edge, he's a totally different player. I know he calls it the dog mentality. He needs to be a dog all night tonight. And I think if he can prioritize those other areas first and do those well, his scoring will probably come with it. Sometimes the less you think about scoring, the more you do, if you're doing the other things well. Get a steal, get a layup, get an offensive rebound, but get a putback, and if he can score those ways first, then I think we're in pretty good shape. And I think I think Williams is our offensive key. He's the one guy that can create at the end of the clock and end of the half and game. But Esegian Williams, Griffiths, and maybe Sam Hoiberg, they're the ones that need to make threes. I don't think our new point guards are shoot first guys. So we need some of those, and maybe Morgan, he's 1 for 2, but maybe he needs to shoot a few more. He shot it well in practice when I saw him. So those guys got to step up and make those open threes. I think Fred, his whole career here, has gotten our guys open threes, but we've just had some of those teams that have never, I think, reached their capability of what they've shown in practice in games. It's time to do. It's kind of like the football. It's time for them to make shots, right? It's time for them to make plays. So it's time for those guys.
Coach Jeff Smith with us here. Coach, I wanted to ask you real quick about 60 seconds before we get you out. If you're Nebraska offensively, how do you attack a 3-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year in Ryan Colkbreder? Do you drag him out? Do you go right at him? What's the offensive strategy tonight against Creighton?
Yeah, I definitely drag him out and make him play some ball screens. I go right at him. If he's in the paint and you get your shoulders by your man, I think you have to go at him, even if he blocks a couple of your shots. He's so good at not fouling, but I still think you have to attack him. We don't, that was the thing about Derek Walker 2 years ago when we beat him. He was so good off the dribble, and he kind of gave them fits because he could shoot it well enough, but he could put it on the floor and even go by him, and he's smart enough to use the rim as protection. I don't know if Andrew Morgan can do that. He has some skill from what I've seen. His feet are pretty good. Mia's not a guy that can do that, but Mia can maybe post him up and maybe get a jump hook over him. I don't know, but I think you just have to be extremely physical with him, double him in the post, but then drag him out on offense, pull him out the perimeter if you can, make him move his feet, try to give you some opportunities to get by him. But then when you have to go and he's there, I think you got to go unless the kickouts are, there too.
Jeff Smith with us, Coach. We'll holler again. Enjoy tonight. Thanks for a few minutes tonight.
Sounds good, fellas. Put a bet down for me. Huskers 21 and Wisconsin 20.
Okay, Big Red.
All right.
Thanks, Coach. Take care, Coach.
All right, bye.
With new Mastercraft exterior doors. Customize your kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry. It's time to pick up those new appliances or start your big garage project. Don't miss out. The 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving. Stores closed Thanksgiving Day. 11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See Menards.com for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Learn more at Viking.com.
Hey, this is Dan Bongino. As a former NYPD police officer, Secret Service agent, and a TV host, I'll bring Nebraska an honest perspective on the day's events. I'll debunk the nonsense you hear in the media and give you the real insight on what's really going on. Join me, Dan Bongino, weekdays from 11 to 2 on FM 101.5 and 1240 AM KFOR.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you here, Hail Varsity Roadshow here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, Justice Rhody. Just outside Ameristar Sports Book and Bar. Get your bets laid. Nebraska-Creighton tipping off here at 7. Nebraska-Creighton women at halftime. The Husker women up 37-35. We check in live. Jacob Padilla with us here from Hail Varsity and Hurrdat Sports at SoCo Auditorium at Jacob Padilla _ on Twitter. Jacob, tell us about the first half action. How are we doing today?
Hey, guys. I'm doing all right. Hopefully it's not too loud. We got some gymnastics going on down here on the DJ Suffolk.
How are you on the balance beam, Jacob?
No balance beams out there. A lot of flips and trampolines going on, though. I will stay up here and let the professionals handle that. But, yeah, so far in the first half, it's kind of both teams pressing their advantage. Nebraska pounded the ball inside. Creighton has hit a few more threes, but Nebraska's supporting cast has showed up a little bit more, and that's been the slight difference at halftime.
Jacob, I wanted to get your thoughts, and we'll get to the men, Nebraska and Creighton, coming up here in just a second. But Nebraska lost Natalie Potts for the season just the other night. Want to get your thoughts on how that's going. How is Nebraska able to handle things and run the offense without Natalie Potts, a huge piece of that team?
Yeah, she's a huge blow for that team. She was playing so well. Jessica Petrie got the start tonight. She played really well on Tuesday. Career high scoring. I think she had 14 in that one. So she got the start today. And then Kendall Coley, who Amy Williams said spent the whole offseason practicing at the wing, didn't play at the 4 at all up until the injury to Potts, and then said, "Hey, you need me, I'll go in," and just kind of winged it out there, no pun intended. But looks like she's been practicing back at the 4 this week because she filled in those spots and has already made some nice plays defensively. And so it's going to have to be by committee. Petra Bojan playing a little bit, is playing back at 5 while Petrie's playing exclusively at the 4 now, and then Coley coming up. So different looks there. Petrie's gives you a little bit more interior scoring, can step out and shoot a little bit, and then Coley's much more of a 3 and D type. So that's kind of how they're looking so far, trying to replace Potts.
Jacob Padilla's with us. Jacob, let's switch over to Nebraska-Creighton tonight at CHI. We just talked to Coach Jeff Smith last segment, and pretty good insight on how you go at Kalkbrenner. What's your thought with Nebraska's game plan offensively tonight? What do they need from 3? What can they get in the paint? And conversely, your take on just, how good you think this Creighton team can be. I know they're ranked, but what's their ceiling?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see kind of how Nebraska handles that front court rotation. And how much do they just try to match up Braxton Mia with Kalkbrenner, and how much do they go with Andrew Morgan or Berke Buchengel to try to get more skill out there and hopefully try to take advantage of Kalkbrenner's drop coverage. That's kind of been the way teams have tried to attack Creighton thus far. Some of the non-conference teams with a lot of 5-out basketball to try to get open threes because Kalkbrenner is such a force in the paint. So I'll be curious to see kind of what the minutes distribution look like there. That's one way I think Nebraska's probably going to try. I mean, Buchengel hasn't shot the ball as well as he needs to for this team, but I think they still want him taking shots from there. And now is as good of a time as any to get hot. So I think that's probably how they're going to have to try to attack that, and then maybe invert it a little bit. You space the floor with Morgan or Buchengel, and then try to have a guy like Raleigh Worcester taking advantage of a matchup in the paint. You got Juwan Gary's probably going to have a favorable matchup if Jemiah Neal matches up with Bryce Williams. So that's probably how Nebraska's best bet is trying to space Creighton out to limit how much Kalkbrenner can help, and then try to take advantage of their bigger guards in the paint.
Jacob Padilla with us here. And Jacob, if this is a game where Nebraska is doubling Kalkbrenner in the post, what guys from Creighton need to step up and shoot the three if they're to win this game? And I guess you could flip it around. What guys do Nebraska need to stick on like glue at that 3-point line?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is going to be the guys playing at the fourth spot, namely Isaac Trout and Jackson McAndrew. We saw both. I think those guys combined for 5 or 6 threes in the Kansas City game, and a lot of times those are going to be the guys in the weak side corner when you're posting up Kalkbrenner on the strong side block. So if they can hit those skip passes, they can get that rotation. Those are guys that are probably going to get some pretty good clean look at the end of it. And if those guys are hitting, Creighton's going to be tough for anybody to beat with how dominant Kalkbrenner is capable of being in the paint with one-on-one matchups and with his ability for duck-ins and steals and running the floor. So I think it'll be a big game for those guys in particular because with the way that Nebraska likes to defend, they should get opportunities as long as Creighton can handle the doubles and the pressure because turnover, they've been a little inconsistent with their ball security so far this season.
Jacob Padilla is with us. It's Hail Varsity Roadshow Friday here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, right outside Amerisports. Jacob, about 3 minutes here, and we'll get you out. Thanks for the update. Halftime, Husker women up on Creighton 37-35. Husker volleyball, do they sweep Wisconsin? What's your gut tell you about Big Red versus Big Red Nebraska-Wisconsin football?
Volleyball or football?
I need both. I need both.
Nebraska, Wisconsin volleyball, they're a little banged up. I don't know the status of their libero and their best defensive specialists both missed the last 2 games. I don't know if they're going to be back. They survived a 5-setter with Minnesota on Wednesday, but they gave up like 7 or 8 aces. And the backup libero kind of got picked on. So if Wisconsin's not at full strength, I mean, even if they are at full strength, we've already seen Nebraska win that matchup. But if Wisconsin's shorthanded again and Nebraska has a good serving day, I think the Huskers were able to kind of complete the season sweep over the Badgers with the role they're on right now. Football-wise, man, I don't know what to expect out of this team anymore. This is, I think, their best shot at a win, obviously, out of these last 3. And they gave themselves a shot against USC. We started to see some of the impact of the coordinator change just in terms of tempo and some of the things that could potentially pay dividends offensively as they get more comfortable with it. Hopefully another week of practice will allow them to maybe unlock some things. Fortunately, they're not 100% healthy. It's the season that Tommy Hill has had is just such a disappointment for him and for the team after the way they got started. Just kind of one of those nagging injuries that never went away. So gonna have to have some others step up as kind of they needed all season because he hasn't been himself since the start. But I'll go ahead and be optimistic and say I think they can get both of these done. But I don't know. I certainly wouldn't put any money down on Nebraska football.
There's our cement lock of the night with Jacob. Jacob, enjoy the rest of the ball game and coverage tomorrow as well as Nebraska-Creighton. Thanks for the time, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, Jacob. We'll wrap up hour 1 here on Hail Varsity.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Thanksgiving is the best. I love a juicy turkey leg, mashed potatoes with lots of gravy, country heart stuffing, cranberry sauce, even the green bean casserole. And since I always have seconds, this year I'm grateful for two things. My favorite elastic waist pants that are super stretchy, and the Village Hearth dinner rolls that help me mop up every last morsel. Baked locally, delivered fresh daily. Village Hearth dinner rolls are the natural choice for Thanksgiving dinner.
From Will You Marry Me? To
I do.
There's a lot of planning.
The first thing you should do is attend the Lincoln Wedding and Celebration Show, Sunday, January 12th at the Cornhusker Marriott, downtown Lincoln.
Gather info, find inspiration, and collect ideas for the big day, all in one place.
Register for prizes and enjoy a style show by Ellen Bridal, Complete Weddings and Events, Studio SPS, and Super Saver Floral.
The Lincoln Wedding and Celebration Show, Sunday, January 12th.
For free tickets, go to kfornow.com.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine and More, find Pinot Noirs and Cabernets that you adore. Our helpful guides are so friendly and nice. So many bottles to try at the lowest price. So gather with friends as you sit down to eat. Grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Now's the time to get your John Deere equipment inspected and prepared for next season. Acres trained technicians will thoroughly evaluate your machine and get it running at peak performance. And for a limited time, Acres is offering early inspection incentives. Sign up before December 15th and qualify for a discount on parts installed by Acres. Get no interest and no payments until November of 25 with approved financing through John Deere Financial. Some restrictions apply. Contact your nearest Acres location for details.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in store or
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time, this first hour, it's Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, Justice Rhody here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, right outside Ameris Sportsbook and Bar. I have narrowed down two of the games we're going to pick for the Hail Varsity parlay.
Okay, what do you have?
I think we go KU money line.
I like that.
I think we go Wisconsin money line.
That's sacrilege in this state.
Well, as our dear friend Jeff Snitley put it, if you take Wisconsin in the money line, if you lose the bet, we've helped pay for a bowl win. My dad used to, my bless his soul, my dad had always bet Oklahoma and hoped Nebraska to win. So it was a good Thanksgiving Day weekend, regardless.
It's the emotional hedge.
Yes, thank you.
That's what it is. The emotional hedge.
And it's the show title. I like it.
I trust our ability to remain unbiased in our coverage tomorrow, even if we have money on the game. That's the kind of the problem here. It's why Kirk Herbstreit doesn't pick the games he's calling on game day, because he wants to have that unbiased take.
I'm not cheering for it.
Well, you could be. That's the question. But I trust your professionalism.
It's what I think. I have gone all over the map this week with what I think is going to happen. And based on my last 24 hours, I don't like the morale tomorrow.
Fair enough. I'm feeling the same way.
Do not like the morale tomorrow.
Though in this state.
Burn the tape if I'm wrong. We always have that aside.
Yeah.
We always say, hey, just disregard the wrongness of that statement uttered across the Hail Varsity Radio Network.
And then So the third game we're picking, are we taking Indiana plus 10? I know you don't like that.
Let's do 4. Let's do 4. Let's do Indiana.
Why do you want to keep on doing 4?
Because we got to bet Creighton, Nebraska basketball tonight.
Do we?
Kind of a lock.
I mean,
kind of a lock to lay the 10.5.
Did you not hear what Coach Jeff Smith said about Creighton's 3-point shooting this year? 31%.
I know, but Nebraska is not great around the perimeter defensively. Am I wrong there?
Well, do you remember what we said 2 years ago? We had the same. I think Creighton was like a 17-point favorite 2 years ago, and Nebraska went up to Omaha.
Well, and Nebraska played the same defense last year as they played 2 years ago, and Creighton hit.
Yeah, but Creighton's only shooting 31% this year.
They got a dude in the middle that's shooting 89% from the floor. Justice weigh in here.
Well, okay. If you look at the defensive metrics, yes, like Nebraska's great. The problem is they're shooting 25% from 3. They're one of the 15 worst teams in the country from the perimeter.
And it's game 4, right?
And Creighton also shot 43s last year in PBA, and Baylor Shireman shot 20 of them.
Yeah, the percentage didn't end up being lights out, but they made them when they needed to bury you early.
So, Justice, that was a non-committal answer there.
Yeah,
Where are you leading?
Where's your paycheck going here?
If I had to lay the money, I'd probably take Nebraska plus 10.5. I don't trust any of those guys from Creighton to lay any sort of 3 down.
Is this head or heart bet?
This is a head bet. I look at the percentages and I say there's no way Creighton's gonna do that unless they just explode.
I'm with Justice as well. Based on what they've done this season and based on what the guys' numbers are, I don't think it's a game that Creighton goes and shoots the lights out and beats you by 25.
I think Ohio State drills Indiana.
So we got to find something we agree upon, because clearly we're not agreeing upon things right now.
All right, we'll continue to huddle up. Reminder to get buckled up. Use your seatbelt. It saves lives and prevents injuries. Only if properly worn. Make it click. A message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Bill Dolman next. Message from the NDOT Highway.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you got to make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hello, neighbor from Super C Convenience Stores. It's tailgate season, and Super C Rewards gets you bonus points, club rewards, and savings on tailgate supplies. Get 20 bonus points on Fridays when you purchase 12 or 18 packs of beer and pop. Save those points and redeem for propane exchange. Get a free bag of ice when you purchase 9 with the Ice Club. You get free stuff with your tailgate on everyday purchases. Win or lose, all season long. Be a fan. Download the Super C Rewards app today at Apple or the Google Play Store.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
This is KFOR's Kathy Blythe inviting you to join Legacy's John Kopetsky and me Saturday mornings for the Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities. Lifestyle and health topics plus fascinating people. The Aging Adventure, 8 a.m. Saturday.
This is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Residents along the West Coast bracing for another round from major storms, bringing record rain and leading to flooding.
North of San Francisco and Santa Rosa, the city is now on track to break its all-time 3-day rain record. That's 122 years of record keeping. 17 inches of rain fell on Wednesday and Thursday, and the rain is still coming down. Near the Russian River, homes are flooded. This man's home is included.
I don't know. I'm trying to take it one step at a time and just keep praying. And then after that, I start to think of what kind of damage are we looking at once this is all done.
Rain is in the forecast in Sonoma County until next Wednesday. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Matt Gaetz says he will not return to Congress for the new session. The former Florida congressman resigned from the current session after he was nominated for Attorney General, but bowed out over allegations he has denied of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. At least 15 people have reported getting sick in Minnesota linked to a possible E. coli contamination. Federal regulators now recalling 167,000 pounds of fresh and frozen beef after tracing illnesses back to a packing company in Michigan. ABC's Alex Perez has details.
Authorities believe all of this impacted ground beef originated in Detroit at the Wolverine Packing Company, but they're, of course, taking a closer look at ground beef everywhere. Just to be careful here, this company shipped to restaurants across the country, so right now there's still a lot of work being done to investigate where exactly this ground beef may be at.
A man from India has been indicted in Oregon, accused of trying to skirt sanctions on Russia and funneling aviation parts from the U.S. to Russia. Authorities arrested him last month in Miami. If convicted, he could receive 20 years in federal prison. And in Ireland, a civil jury found mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor liable in a sexual assault case of a woman in a hotel in 2018. You're listening to ABC News.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Everyone on the road is trying to make it to their destination safely. You can help by staying aware of the large trucks and buses around you. They take longer to stop, have large blind spots, and make wide turns that require caution from other drivers. It takes all of us working together to share the road safely. Learn more at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. Paid for by FMCSA.
Man is accused of vandalizing businesses and vehicles in central Lincoln. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 45 degrees at KFOR. Lincoln police have made an arrest in connection to a string of vandalism cases in Midtown on Wednesday afternoon. Public Information Manager Erica Thomas says the vandalism cases started at 7 Brew off of 56th and O Street and continued to the area of 50th and O, where 19-year-old Eric Garrett III allegedly threw rocks through 2 business windows and a car windshield.
He also picked up a metal street sign and used it to smash 2 additional car windshields. Total damage is estimated at $2,500 between 5 separate victims.
Garrett apparently was involved in an argument at the Lincoln Public Schools district office before the vandalism spree. After he left in a van, Garrett was tracked down at his home on Thursday and arrested for 5 counts of injure or destroy property of another and disturbing the peace. 3 people were injured in a 3-vehicle crash Thursday night near 63rd and Adams, just to the north of Northeast High School. Lincoln Police Lieutenant Jason Goodwin tells KFOR News a dump truck pulling a trailer was westbound on Adams Street of 63rd Street, where the trailer broke loose and collided with 2 other vehicles heading eastbound.
The driver and 2 passengers of the Nissan Rogue were taken to a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The passenger in the BMW had minor injuries but was not taken to the hospital.
Lieutenant Goodwin says the truck driver was cited for having no operator's license and failing to secure the trailer. Adams Street in that area was closed for about 2 hours. Saturday will be busy with fans in Lincoln for Nebraska's regular season home finale in football against Wisconsin and the top 10 match in volleyball between the Huskers and Badgers. That means streets will be congested.
Lincoln police officers will be out directing traffic before and after the football game to make sure that vehicles and pedestrians make it to their destination safely.
Lincoln Police Public Information Manager Erica Thomas says give yourself plenty of time when driving to find parking and walk to Memorial Stadium or the Devaney Sports Center. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 29. Right now in Lincoln, it's 45. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
These
These are today's top headlines.
Trump goes with Florida's former AG Pam Bondi, replacing Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Trump's hush money sentencing is adjourned, but could be rescheduled later. Senator Bob Casey finally concedes his Pennsylvania Senate seat to Republican Dave McCormick.
Don't miss a thing. Stay connected for whatever's next.
News that affects you. On air and on demand. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Hurrdat Media and may contain pre-recorded material. He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Dolman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's hour 2. It's Hail Varsity Roadshow Friday in front of Nebraska-Creighton. Get here to Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, Ameris Sportsbook and Bar, and get that money down on Nebraska-Creighton. Maybe a little Nebraska-Wisconsin tomorrow. Pride of Fairbury is in. Can watch on the stream, Hail Varsity YouTube. Bill Dolman with us, the professor at Bill Dolman, where you find and follow on Twitter. Catch him on the Average Joe Sports Show podcast. Billy D, we are debating here 3 legs or 4 legs of the Hail Varsity parlay. Game Dog and the Snitley boys are in on what's happening in Vegas, and that is 60% of sharp money is on Wisconsin outright. There are morale concerns by those in the desert about Nebraska football tomorrow. I think Nebraska basketball gets drilled tonight by Creighton. That line jumped from 3.5 to 10.5 right now. And then Elijah and I are arm wrestling here. Bet on him if that was a physical thing to truly happen. But he thinks Indiana in the points, and I know Coach Barnett thinks that too. I think if Ohio State wants to kind of turn it up, they can. I think Chip Kelly's the difference. I think their talent's the difference. So I think Ohio State makes a statement tomorrow at home. So those are kind of my thoughts and concerns. Get the old Billy Club out and swing away at me if you agree or disagree.
Well, I was going to say you are certainly Little Miss Ray of Sunshine. You're taking the Wisconsin football, taking Creighton basketball. You might as well take Wisconsin and volleyball tomorrow night, and Creighton women in the second half today. So let's just keep it going.
I can cross the threshold and go.
No, I'm going to take Miami 31-30 in the '84 Orange Bowl, and let's just kick every dog in town.
Not Shaggy.
And by the way, when you were talking about 3 or 4 legs, yes, Scooby was the 3-legged wonder dog that I grew up with. However, all right. So Indiana and Ohio State, where I have 0 dog in the fight, whether they be 3-legged or 4-legged. That game is at the shoe, right?
It is.
And therefore, I think regardless of where that game's played, I think it's an Ohio State day.
But the thing is,
10.5.
The problem with the shoe is that if Indiana scores an early touchdown, Ohio State fans hate their head coach. That place, we experienced it, Schmidt. You and I, Columbus, when that place got nervous.
Not as much as Wisconsin players. Fans.
I think Ohio State played really well at Oregon, and probably should have won the game had it not been for another ill-fated quarterback downing of the football. Although Nebraska's took place early in the game, that was on the last play of the game. But I think Ohio State has. I think this is a game for pride for them, and if they don't show any pride tomorrow, I think they're wounded going into Michigan. And seriously, and I think that
then it's on.
Right, absolutely. So. There's enough pressure for that team to have to beat Michigan that if you lose to Indiana and then lose your team and somehow get knocked off by a really weak Michigan football team, it might be lights out for Ryan Day at Ohio State, and Urban Meyer will just, get back into the mix, or Chip Kelly gets a job that he probably doesn't really want. But you just got to believe that Ohio State is good, right?
That's the problem.
You got, or is Indiana that much of a James Madison darling that they ride that wave like teams do, a Boise State or a TCU or something like that, where they get the win?
My problem is, and we've talked about this before, under Ryan Day, Ohio State has shown time and time again that at their core they're soft.
Very fair, but Jimmy's and Joe's are the difference, and they are the best team money can buy when they want to be. They can throw it to Charles all day long. They can run it with Travion. Can run it with the other
Can
dude.
they run it? They don't have half their offensive line.
It's already stopped offensive pretty good, though. I mean, it's a perplexing game. It really is. And what Indiana did to Nebraska took them to a different level of trying to figure out, wow, maybe this team is really good. And they've just kept right on winning. Give them credit. James Madison was good last year, and Indiana's good this year. But I don't know. You got to believe Ohio State's has been lying in wait for this game for a couple of weeks now, right?
No, I don't disagree. Bill, let's go to Nebraska-Wisconsin. You worried about morale tomorrow? I know what should happen tomorrow. This is, 3 weeks in a row where you're getting a wounded team coming in, and it's not mattered. The wounded team has gotten healthy against Nebraska football.
I worry about morale because of what I saw in the first half of the UCLA game. That to me, with what Nebraska did in the first half, coming out disinterested, longing to be in their sleepy pods, playing their Xboxes and hanging out in Club Husker. That should not happen. I mean, you get to be in that place 6 days a week or more, and you get 7 days to play at Memorial Stadium. And for many people, this is it. This is the last time you're going to play in front of a crowd like that, unless maybe you get drafted by Green Bay, where they care whether they are good or not. But for some players, this is the last time you're going to be in this kind of environment ever. And for some of you, it'll be the last time that they really ever play a meaningful home game in their lives. How do you come out flat in a game like that? That's to me is the most worrisome thing. Now, whether there's morale or there's some fractures in locker rooms or whatever, has Dana Holgorsen kicked over, enough rocks that, he's disturbed the fire ants who are coming out pissed off. Well, maybe that's a good thing. If he's kicked over rocks and found worms, that might be a bad thing, unless you're going down to the Little Blue River and fishing for some catfish, as somebody pointed out by Fairbury. But I got to believe that maybe Dana Holgorsen has come in and maybe just by his presence, I don't know. I'm just speculating. Maybe it's hopeful speculation that, not that there's no sacred cow in the locker room now. It's about chasing six and getting six, and you can worry about hurt feelings later. And if the feelings are too hurt, then, go someplace else. But
Bill,
you got to have some players who are agitated on the field tomorrow.
Bill, I want to flip this around, though, and ask the question. With what we've heard in the rumor mill with Malachi Coleman this week, I think it says a lot that there hasn't been anyone, whether it be Malachi, his family, or even from the coaching staff, to go dispute those reports. I think that says a lot about what's going on behind the scenes and kind of lends me to believe that when there's smoke, there's fire. With all the roster attrition that needs to happen this offseason to get down to 105, how many guys are in that same boat? And now you hear Dana Holgorsen coming in and saying, you know what? You guys aren't good at perimeter blocking. Your running backs aren't good at finding the hole. You guys can't make somebody miss. How many guys are saying, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to be in the portal next week. It doesn't matter anyway. This guy can yell and scream all he wants. It doesn't matter. That's my question with this football team, is how many other guys are in that same boat as, at least what the rumors would lead you to believe, the same boat Malachi Coleman's in.
Okay, well, if you can't handle it, getting chewed out a little bit, some tough love, then maybe this just isn't for you, right? And that doesn't have to be a berating of players. I don't approve of that. But don't you have to challenge guys and say, look, you got a depth chart, and if you're the bottom one on the depth chart, you better fight your way to get to the top. We're not going to coddle you. It's football. It's the Big 12, said Dan Hawkins many years ago, right?
Not intramurals, brother.
It's not intramural, brother. Look, if some guys just can't handle some tough coaching, then again, maybe there are other places to go play and enjoy the game and enjoy all the accoutrements of club wherever you go. Charlie McBride was not the easiest, guy to play for, but his players knew that he loved him, but he also, kicked him in the ass from time to time. And, some guys needed it and wanted it. I'm not into the berating thing where you just, you yell to yell. There's got to be a message behind it. But man alive, if somebody comes in and says, well, you're a pretty big dude. How come you're not being more physical? If that hurts your feelings, then you better walk around life wearing those shoulder pads. Right?
Bill Dolman's with us.
What can DeSolan say to somebody? Life's tough. Get a helmet.
Something like that. And
well, football players already have them, and if you got to walk around campus wearing a helmet and shoulder pads, then maybe it's not for you here, but it could be someplace else.
Can you change your message this late in the year, or let someone come in? And I think yes is the answer, but from how it's received and then how it's not only taken but then used or not used. Can you say I'm going to be the same guy, good or bad? And I believe Rule means to be that guy, but he's clearly had to go bring in, take the gun, leave the cannoli. He's had to bring in Holgerson to be a heavy, especially on the offensive side of the football. At least he's done it great, but the here and now versus the big picture, the long term, it may not go over well.
Well, but it's coming from a different voice, and it's coming from a respected voice in college football. It's not as though, and I know Matt Rule's tone from Monday to his comments, what was it, Thursday, there seemed to be a change in his tone. There was a little more edge to Matt Rule than I think what we've heard maybe in the first 2 full seasons. What is it? Is it 2 years ago today that he got the job? So I think there was a change there. But because it's Dana Holgerson coming in, and again, we've talked about it for 2 weeks now, people know him. He's got a reputation that's 15, 20 years in the making. You see Dana Holgerson's picture with no graphic or caption or sound, and people know who that is immediately. And they can associate with what he has done in college football. It's not as though that this particular Nebraska staff with no outside influence decided we're going to be mean guys this week. That would not be genuine, right? But somebody comes in, changes the tenor, and maybe the coach buys in and they understand, look, there is urgency, and that's why we're hearing what we're hearing. That's why it's a little darker around here. The Dark Knight has come in to star this show, right? Jaws is the star of the show and not the sheriff. So I think because it's an outside influence that's respected that has come in with the tone that he's had. And I think that enables you to have a difference of opinion, shall we say, in camp.
Game Dog has corrected me. 60% of the money's on Nebraska. Sharp money moved the line in Wisconsin's favor. That's just
in the last 10 minutes that I've been on. That's why it's changed. They heard what I had to say, and the line moved. That's what I get it.
It's Bill Dolman with us here, a Friday edition Hail Varsity Radio, getting you geared up for the weekend. Nebraska-Creighton, Nebraska-Wisconsin. Bill, with this football team, what are some things you're watching for early tomorrow to see, has this team brought it on senior day? Because I think they're going to need to have some things go right early for them. They needed it last week against USC. You got it from Sia Wright, still wasn't enough. What does Nebraska need to show you early tomorrow to show you that they're going to be going bowling this season?
Get to the quarterback and tackles for losses, flying around the football defensively. I think the defense is going to set the tone for what kind of attitude the entire team brings to the field. I'd let Wisconsin have the ball first drive of the game, and instead of letting somebody go on a 10-minute march like they've done a couple of times, force a 3 and out, fly around the football, play with some attitude. I'm sorry that Tommy Hill is not going to play tomorrow or the rest of his career at Nebraska. but maybe that provides a spark in the secondary. This is Robinson's last game. He has got to be the most respected man in the locker room and the most respected man on the field tomorrow. So I think Robinson is a tone setter offensively. I remember watching Nebraska last week, getting a handoff. I think it was Dowdell. Dowdell gets the handoff 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage and starts making his shifty moves left, right. And then he goes and he runs into a hole that's been closed, right? The other guy from USC runs right through the hole and then starts making moves 4 or 5 yards down the field. And I think Dana Holgerson alluded to that. And I appreciate him listening to the Average Joe Sports Show. Like and subscribe like he has. Because you got to hit the hole, get through it, and then start making some moves and not dance around the backfield trying to figure out where you're going to go. So run with purpose. And I hope it's Emmett Johnson who sets the tone. And I'd like to see Dowdell. He's a physical runner. And maybe Ramir Johnson gets to play. And I do hope the quarterback, I hope 15, throws some passes with some confidence and allows his receivers to make plays instead of trying to be perfect and see what he's supposed to see and get the ball to where it's supposed to go and not automatically think I'm checking down. So zip on some passes, make those receivers, use their body, use their hands, make catches, move down the field. But Ty Robinson, to me, is the tone setter in the locker room and the tone setter on the field for that defense.
Bill Dolman with us, Prada Fairbury, the professor. Hail Varsity Radio here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino Ameris Sports Book and Bar. We will cross that threshold here about 6:02 to put our Hail Varsity parlay in action. Jeff is counting the ATM users. Bill, I need you to count the winner chicken dinner. Who is winning tomorrow? I need a score. I need a prediction. Nebraska-Wisconsin football.
Oh, Nebraska's winning the game. They're going to jump around in the fourth quarter at Memorial Stadium after the game is over with. I think Robinson has a big day. What number does he wear? 90? So 90-6.
Okay. 9-6. I like it. Bill will holler tomorrow.
Put that zero in there somewhere. All right, boys.
The perfect place to go for lunch every day. Heard at Sports Bar and Grill. Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long? Heard at Sports Bar and Grill. Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday? Heard at Sports Bar and Grill. Heard at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista. Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Are you drowning in a sea of shopping lists and holiday stress? Then head to Jet Splash. Nothing soothes the soul like water spraying directly at your face as a 200-pound rotating brush slaps voraciously against the roof of your family truckster. Plus, you can get all of your holiday shopping done in the process. Our holiday sale is going on now, where you can get the best deals of the year on annual memberships, or save on 5, 11, or 22 packs of car washes, or get a pack of our new Jet Gloss Ceramic, now fortified with nanographene. Wash the holiday stress away today at jetsplash.com.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you. Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Trust is a foundation of any strong relationship. It's earned every day.
At 1011, it's the way we cover the community we call home.
Working hard to fact check, verify, and get the story right.
It means alerting you first to severe weather and preparing for what's ahead.
It's telling the stories that bring us together and make us proud to be Nebraskan.
Trust Cole Miller
Madison Pitch, Chief Meteorologist Ken Shumick, and Sports Director Kevin Suits. The most watched, the most trusted. That's 1011.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hail Varsity Roadshow, Friday here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, right outside Amerisports. Friday forecast is coming up. Brian Christopherson joins us, Husker 24/7 Sports. BC, it's do or die, brother. How you feeling about tomorrow?
It's it feels like that, doesn't it? They got to get this one. I mean, it feels like I guess the last 3 or 4 years there's been games like this where it's like they got to have this. They got to change how the December is around here. We'll see if they can get it done. It's this is when you see what type of team chemistry you have, and how much guys are still in it. So we'll see.
It's imperative. Quite frankly, you nailed it. You need another long December. And when you look at this ball game, BC, going to be run game heavy, as in stop the run and stick to the run if you're Nebraska. And you're also hoping to get your freshman phenom back at it. I know that's a question or statement I make every week with you, but it's really true. You get better or safer quarterback play, things are okay. And quite honestly, you don't need Dylan to go win you ball games. You need Dylan to just make some plays and handle the rock, right? I mean, that's Wisconsin's defense. They may be a couple of studs down, but they're still pretty salty.
Yeah, they are. And if you look at how they've played, they held Oregon to 16 points. You go back to that game against Penn State, they lost 28-13, but one of those was a pick six that Penn State had. So their defense has kept them afloat a lot this season. They're not top 10 in some categories like we've seen of past Wisconsin units. But they are the type of group that I think you hit on it with Dylan's play. Like you can't have that pick six that you give the Badgers or that turnover that you give Wisconsin a 25-yard field, So this game very well could come down to that with two offenses that have sputtered along and sort of had trouble finishing. It might ultimately be which one avoids that big mistake. You hate to frame it like that, but that's the type of grinder game we could be headed for. So I think with Dylan, if you think about the USC game, he had 2 or 3 plays there that he probably wants back, where hopefully this Saturday, he makes them, on the third down, on the first drive of the second half when he didn't see Banks. There's going to be a play similar to that in this game. And the question is, can they capitalize and finish some of those drives instead of just having them be promising ones that end up in 3 points?
Brian Christopherson with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. And BC, whenever you look at these offenses, both of them obviously have made changes at the OC spot. Phil Longo out the door on Sunday. Was Dana Holgerson coming in during the bye? With that in mind, just the issues that these offenses have faced all year long, is this a game where the fans of punting may be happy?
I bet they'll get there enough to hit their quota. Yeah, from that. And that's also the part of the game. This isn't the sexy part of it, but if it is a third down and 7 on your own 40-yard line, be careful not to force a pass when you can live for another possession. Sometimes you have to have that mindset in this game. It's hard to know exactly what Wisconsin's going to come out and do, obviously, moving on from Phil Longo. But you kind of would guess that a team like that in a situation like this is going to want to try to get back to their roots and really get that run game going. And so I think a big part of this, this is not one of those games where you're talking about like topics that are just for the marquee, but it's, can you keep Wisconsin on their first down runs to 1 or 2 yards where it's like 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, as opposed to letting Pawi Walker fall forward and have it be like 2nd and 5. I think if Wisconsin is playing a 2nd and 6, 3rd and 3 kind of game, looking at the play sheet just how they want to look at it on those third downs, that's where Nebraska gets in trouble. So first down is going to be so huge in this game. You just gotta shut the door and shut that valve off right away.
Brian Christopherson's with us. Find him with Husker 24/7 Sports. He and Michael Bruntz, Mike Schaefer at Husker 24/7 BC is where you can follow him on Twitter. What's your take, your theory on Jalen Lloyd, Emmett Johnson? You've seen some of Emmett this year. You've seen little glimpses of Lloyd as well, and he's always produced. I mean, those are two guys I want to see tomorrow getting touches or at least getting targets, right? More so for Lloyd, because it seems like he always makes things happen. What's your theory as to why playing time has been so hard to come by for both?
Yeah, I mean, Emmett did see his snap count go up last week, but
right.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, prior to that, it was probably more Dowdell got more of it. It's going to be interesting though. Some guys have to feel like they have a fresh leash on things with Dana Holgerson around. Like you saw Bonner get more involved, and I would think Lloyd could be a guy who maybe as these final weeks finish off, you see a little bit more of. Those are good names to bring up though, Schmidt, because I think as much of a grinder of a game as I expect this to be, if Nebraska can hit that one home run, that may make all the difference in the world. We can talk and wonder what guys' spirits are like over there and all this stuff. But let's say Jalen Lloyd, you can hit him on a 58-yard play, one play, that changes the whole dynamic, really lifts everybody up. Let's say Emmett Johnson can get to that second level, or Dowdell, and they step over that tackle this time and take it to the house. One play like that has really been lacking in some of these games. Instead, Nebraska's had to pound it out, kind of beat their heads against the wall for like these 12, 13 play drives. Yes, that's part of the deal, but they do need something, I think, that on one possession at least that separates from that and maybe gives them the gap in this game. So we'll see if those guys you mentioned are good names to bring up who could deliver it too.
And to add to that, BC, I mean, it feels like this is a Nebraska team on a losing streak that needs a spark such as that. And you thought maybe last week that Sierra Wright pick 6 early in the game could be the spark the team needed to get him over the hump and end the losing streak. It wasn't enough. But when you look offensively, it feels like one play, especially early in this football game, could be the spark that they need, that confidence builder that they may need, because so much has gone wrong for them over the past few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's a deal. As much as there's all the stuff you go throughout a week, and you're trying to think where your team morale is when you've had a 4-game losing skid, you go out there, and so often it is like, what's that tone-setting play early on, and it can change. It impacts everything, good or bad. So, a couple weeks ago, I think this fan base was ready to have a cathartic moment with this program and get a win against UCLA. And instead what happens, you give up like the 3 third downs and you can't get off the field. And it just kind of puts this gloom. It's like an overcast game. It was overcast literally, but it felt that way with the psychology of it too. And then you had like a 13-7 game at halftime where it just feels like it's not going to happen. Like there was this feeling of defeat, like in the air. And as much as we'd like to think, the players have a separate mindset from how the fans and media view games like that, I don't think it's that far disconnected. I feel like in those games where Nebraska had a few bad things happen early, especially at home, there is sort of a doom and gloom, feeling that kind of comes over the whole stadium, and I think impacts the team. So Captain Obvious says, hey, get off to a good start. You can say that any week. But I think with this team right here, right now, it's imperative. Like they need to play from ahead, get in the captain's chair, get off the field on that first 3rd and 5. That's going to be huge.
Be a front runner again, just like Colorado.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, and that's As simple as it is. BC, big one at CHI. It's Nebraska. It's Creighton. Let's go to hoops. What are the numbers? What do they got to look like if you're Nebraska and Fred Hoiberg defensively against Kalkbrenner?
Yeah, I mean, Kalkbrenner's going to get his, but you got to at least make him work for it, not have it be, 6 dunks or whatever. I mean, he was 20 of 22 in his first game of the year. 49 points. Right now it's early on, but he's one of those player of the year type candidates. Nebraska is going to have to come at him with everybody. It can't just be about Braxton or Andrew Morgan or Berke. It's all of them. And then the guards have to come down. And I think it has to be one of those games where you're really chaotic with, you get your hands in passing lanes and all that stuff. They have to have great transition defense because Creighton thrives on getting easy buckets, getting easy threes. And then the other part of it is, Nebraska isn't the same team as last year, but Fred Hoiberg does think they're a better shooting team than they've shown so far. They're averaging just 5.5 threes per game so far. Last year, they were like 9.5. I think to win this game, they're 10.5-point underdogs. They have to have one of those nights where you kind of double what the stats been, where you hit 10 trays or something like that, and you kind of negate Creighton's advantage there. So you're going to need like a Siegen to hit 3, Gavin Griffiths to give you 2, Bryce to give you 2. Everybody kind of contributes from deep. I think that's going to be a big part of this game. And we're also going to learn about this team. There's going to be a moment, I'm sure, where Creighton hits them with like a 10-2 run or something like that. And can you immediately push back from that in that environment? That's going to be really interesting to watch.
BC, who needs to step up and be a dude? Creighton's got a dude in Kalkbrenner. You laid that out. I'll give you a couple candidates. You got Maya, you got Berke, you got Bryce Williams, you got a Siegen. Who needs to step up and be a dude tonight, in your opinion, if Nebraska gets it done?
They need like 3 dudes, but it's a good question. Okay, Bryce has been big game Bryce. I know the first 3 games, whatever, against weaker competition. He had 28 against St. Mary's and he was in foul trouble. So if that Bryce shows up, that's the starting point. But I think he needs, he's Batman, who's Robin with him. Maybe it's Jawan Gary doing all the junkyard stuff. But Berke's an interesting candidate, because he did play really well, I felt, against St. Mary's, and you saw what he could do defensively. Hoiberg is convincing and telling you this guy can hit from shots too. It just hasn't happened yet. So, if he gets one to fall early from deep, maybe that helps him out. So Berke is a good name to drop along with Bryce. Obviously, Jawan's got to play great. And then, like I said, the 3-point thing, it's got to be either a Siegen or Griffiths. I think at least one of them have to hit 3 threes in this game. And then hopefully the other guy hits 1 or 2 as well. So everybody, that's my answer. I think I'll just keep going through the rosters. Sam Hoiberg's got to be good. And and Aaron Eulis. So, everybody.
BC, enjoy the ball game tonight. We'll see you at the stadium tomorrow. Thanks for a few minutes today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Always enjoy being on.
December 5th with Lincoln East playing Lincoln Southwest in a boys matchup. You can join Will Wilson for the play-by-play. Coverage begins at 7:05 right here.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, a.k.a. fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Sometimes one teacher can make all the difference. A teacher who stays after school to help you understand an algebra problem. A coach who tells you that you can do it and gets you to run faster than you've ever run before. A teacher who pushes you to do things you didn't think you could do. Write a poem, create an algorithm, play a Bach sonata. Sometimes one day in school can make the difference for a lifetime. The day you learn how to read. The day you win an award in the science fair. The day you start thinking, I can, instead of I can't. Celebrate the crucial differences that educators make in young lives. The classroom is where students learn to think, solve problems, and cooperate with each other. These skills are critical in shaping the future of Nebraska and our nation. Visit a classroom and show your support. Whether it's thanking a teacher, reading to kindergartners, or talking with high school students about your work, your support can make all the difference.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card. You can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Hey, it's Phil Hooks and Will Wilson from the Morning Hookup. Coming up on a Monday, we'll welcome back Omaha World Herald's Evan Bland.
We'll react to Nebraska-Wisconsin, Nebraska-Creighton, and NFL action.
In it, baby.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hail Varsity, winding down a Friday road show. Nebraska-Creighton gets going at 7, and we'll dive into a little basketball thoughts. We are going to circle those teams for the parlay. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, Justice Rhody. We welcome in, he's imaginary, he wears red. It's Clausborne with us for the Friday forecast. Claus, how we doing? We have some congratulations in order for Claus. Way to be, man.
Well, I appreciate that. That's part of why I've been a little bit distracted the last couple of weeks. The other part of it is I've been trying to decipher exactly what Jameis Winston is talking about in any given interview. So those things have been weighing heavily on my mind. So if I've brought the show down, well, it's probably a good thing for you.
Do we have a name? You know, Heisman or Bob Father? I mean, is there a name out there you like?
Well, so far I've been debating whether it's going to be Turner, Tommy, Brooke, or Matthew Terminator Clausborne. And I'm
Carl
making it a Twitter poll.
What about Carl?
I do not want to put that evil on anybody, Elijah.
That's so wrong. All right. That's so wrong. Oh, Claus. I can't find the link. Here, help me out, Elijah. Yeah, thank you. Let's get to the forecast here on Hail Varsity. As we're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Steven says cleat. How about cleat, Claus? A little bit.
Would I be naming him after footwear or the NFL referee?
Your former quarterback.
Well, as soon as you put on the stripes, you're dead to me. So
I love that. Claus, let's get out to Arrowhead. And what a ball game this will be. They kick off the same time as Nebraska-Wisconsin. The Buffs, Coach Prime, -3. KU and the Fighting Lance Leopolds on a hot streak. They went out and whacked BYU outright. They put up a ton of points on Iowa State. Do they have the trifecta in them? 3 straight ranked squad wins to keep pushing towards 6. I'll go first here. I like Kansas outright. Coach Barnett told us it's going to be a score fest, potentially. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I don't doubt him, but I like Kansas outright, 31-27. The win outright for Kansas over Colorado, a sold-out Arrowhead. Elijah.
Yeah, the sold-out Arrowhead, I think, is going to make this game very, very fun. KU, Colorado should be good. The question from the Big 12 this year is, which team is that team of destiny? Is it BYU? Is it Colorado? I believe in my heart of hearts I'm with you, Schmidt. But for the sake of this segment and for the sake of bragging rights, I'm going to take Colorado here because I don't want to be in agreement with you. Give me the Buffs to win over KU 34-31. It's going to be a tight ball game. That much I can guarantee.
You know what? If kickoff was at a different time, we're going down to Lawrence for that one.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Justice, what say you here, Buffs or KU?
Yeah, after looking at the performance Kansas had last week, it's hard to pick against those Jayhawks, especially with basically home field advantage in a packed-out Arrowhead. Give me the Jayhawks 28-24 in this one.
All right. Claus, what are you thinking here? Rock, chalk, or buff them up, go see you?
Well, I've got to give credit where credit is due. I dislike Colorado intensely, but after we shellacked them, they seem to have sort of figured a few things out, and now they control their own destiny, both for the conference championship and the national championship playoffs. And quite frankly, I give up 66% of my toes to be in that position too. I think he already has. So I think the fates are aligning with Colorado. I think they win a close one, 28 and Kansas 24.
All right. To the shoe we go. Indiana at Ohio State, the Ohio State. That line's dropped from 14 to 13.5, now to 10.5. It doesn't matter. Give me the Buckeyes and Chip Kelly in this offense over Indiana. Too much talent, too much usage. Ohio State 27, Indiana 13.
I think Indiana is going to come in ready to play. Signetti's had that team ready to play all year long. I think they're going to bring the juice. I have doubts about Ohio State's offensive line. Give me the Hoosiers outright in this football game. And I think the noise around Ryan Day becomes quite loud, probably around halftime, but even after the game as well. Give me Indiana to win this game outright 34-28.
What do you say, Justice?
I like what somebody put in the stream earlier. I think it's a close one in the shoe. I think Ohio State ends up winning it, and it's aided by a tight end catching a pass when he's clearly out of bounds to set up a touchdown drive. Give me Ohio State 35, Indiana 28.
Okay. Claus, what say you, Buckeyes or Hoosiers?
Well, it's been interesting this week since the playoff rankings came out. Indiana has become the most hated team in the SEC. Usually that's just Kentucky that hates them, but there's another sport to consider now for the Hoosiers. And they keep saying, well, they haven't played anybody, not like us in the grind of the SEC. Well, how would we know? The SEC basically plays each other and Mercer all year long. They don't really take any chances in playing tough teams outside of the former Confederacy. In fact, Bill Clinton has played saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show more recently than Florida has played a non-conference road game outside of the state of Florida. So just for spite, I'm taking Indiana 31 and Ohio State 21.
Love it, Claus.
Wow. The Irish head to Army. Not really. Not on the Hudson, but you know what's Army home game. Give me the Notre Dame Fighting Irish again. They've seen option once and put it away. They'll see it again and do the same. Notre Dame rolls 35-10 over Army. Army's a good ball club, but too much Notre Dame going on. What do you got going on, Elijah?
Yeah, too many athletes, too much talent for that Notre Dame squad. I think also at this point in the season, is Army already looking ahead to that Navy game? I know I am. Give me Notre Dame to win this football game 35-17.
Okay, you like it. What do you got going on here? Justice here, Notre Dame or Army? What's the thought?
Yeah, Notre Dame doesn't like service academies, and I think they keep that trend going. Give me the Irish 42 and Army 21.
Claus, we going Notre Dame or Army?
Well, this one is a tough one in that I agree with you. I think Notre Dame is the more athletic team, but Army just keeps finding a way to win. And I'm going to predict that they're going to keep on winning, not only this game, but I think they win out, unless, of course, they get the Viet Cong or the Taliban in a bowl game. So give me Army 31 and Notre Dame 28.
Viet Cong or the Taliban. So we'll pause here, Claus, and get you locked in for Nebraska-Wisconsin. We'll get you locked in for Nebraska-Creighton. Can we do that here in about 3 minutes?
Okay.
Placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Slim Chickens makes it easy to feed your hungry crowd. Fresh, hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, and all the southern sides made fresh for you. It's easy. Just order on the Slim's app or website and leave everything to us. You can get it delivered right to your door. Any party, any size. Slim's has your crowd covered. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Hello, neighbor. Welcome to Pumpkin Time at Super C Convenience Stores. Yep, it's pumpkin season. Pumpkin treats, pumpkin snacks, pumpkin spice, and pumpkin creamer in your coffee. Maybe even a pumpkin donut or pumpkin muffin. However you celebrate pumpkin season, Super C has your pumpkin fix. And with Super C Rewards, you can get rewarded for every pumpkin purchase you make. On fuel, car washes, hot snacks, and cool treats. Super C, celebrating pumpkin season at all 11 area locations. They're always happy to see you rewarded.
This Thanksgiving, Target makes hosting easy with our lowest prices of the season, like Good & Gather Premium Turkey for 79 cents a pound and quality green beans for 55 cents. Or classic stovetop stuffing on sale for $1.99 and delicious Favorite Day apple or pumpkin pie for only $4.49. Plus, get unlimited same-day delivery with a free 14-day trial of Target Circle 360 to make planning even easier. Save more on hosting. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
At Lazy Days, take a break and kick your feet up with unbeatable savings on a wide selection of RVs from your favorite brands. Relax in a brand new travel trailer under $15,000 or a new fifth wheel under $40,000 and payments as low as $115 a month. And don't miss our Black Friday frenzy. When you purchase any RV from November 28th through December 2nd, you'll receive a free $500 Visa gift card. Visit lazydays.com today. Omaha at Council Bluffs, I-29 North, exit 52.
Are you ready for game day? Skip the parking hassle and jump on the Big Red Express. Catch the shuttle to and from all UNL home football games from 4 convenient lots. North Star High School, Northwest High School, Gateway Mall, and South Point Pavilions. Service starts 2 hours before kickoff, and the last bus leaves 45 minutes prior. Need a ride back? Buses load up on our street after the fourth.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
This is awesome. We're here at Amerisports Bar and Grill, and we've met 2 Carls. I bleep you not, Clausborne. Couple of Carls saying, hey. What do you think of that?
Well, I hope they didn't bet all their bail money on red.
That's pretty good. Let's get to Nebraska. Let's get to Wisconsin here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Appreciate meeting the Carls. So it's Wisconsin, it's Nebraska. I'm going to say Wisconsin outright, and it's another heartbreak for the Big Red. 21-17. Fickle and the Badgers prevail. Elijah.
Yeah, and for those that listen to the Average Joe Sports Show this week, I switched my bet.
I switched my bet.
I changed my tune. I'm feeling the same way. Something about the mood of this team does not feel right. The morale does not feel right. I think it's going to be another day for Bucky, as much as I hate to say it. I got the Badgers winning this game 21-16.
Okay, so you changed it.
Yeah.
Because 16 points, that's also a dirty number if you remember the Orange Bowl.
Well, I had it as 16-14 on the Average Joe Sports Show. I think it's the same offensive output. I worry about some guys in the defense saying, man, what is this offense doing for us, and packing it in. So 21-16, the Badgers get it done.
What say you, Justice?
I hate to agree with you guys on this one, but, you know, it's been 10 matchups since they've won against the Badgers, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Give me Wisconsin 17-14.
Man, we are 3 for 3 picking Bucky over Nebraska. Talk to me here, Claus. Are you going Big Red or are you going Big Berry?
Well, I hate to agree with you guys as well, so I won't. I think typically when I talk about Wisconsin, I usually talk about how much like the department store Santa on Elf, their fans smell of meat and cheese, and at least when it comes to them talking about having a championship tradition, they sit on a throne of lies, or the fact that they've become Xerox University to our beloved school in Lincoln. But this time, all you really got to know is that Luke Fickell is rolling into town with a backup quarterback, and the last time that happened, Joe Bowserman put more footballs in the grandstands than Christopher puts golf balls in water hazards.
Wow.
Nebraska 21 and Wisconsin 15.
Claus says Big Red by 6. We're going to sneak in basketball. The line is up to 10.5. Creighton over Nebraska and the Fighting Freds. They got to have it. It's early, but it is resume season. Too much Creighton, too much big man down low. And give me Creighton 75, Nebraska 61. The Jays win outright and cover that 10.5. Elijah.
I can't pick Wisconsin and Creighton, Schmidt. I know you're going to. We can't both do that. That would be sacrilege in this state. Give me Nebraska pulling the upset. Not enough three-point shooting from Creighton. Nebraska gets enough from Bryce Williams. They get a 74-72 victory tonight against the Jays.
Justice?
I'll make this quick. I think a lot of Nebraska problems get solved offensively, not enough to compete with Creighton. I think Creighton fixed the three-point issues. Give me the Blue Jays 80-72.
Okay. Claus, you going Creighton or Nebraska?
Well, originally you said the line was at 3.5, and then Elijah, who is such a degenerate that he thinks the gambler's helpline is who you call when the dealer's showing 5 and you don't know whether to hit or stand on a 16, told us it was 10.5, and I think that was a bunch of sweater-clad J-skers moving that line, so I got a message for them. Keep that same energy tomorrow. There is no we tomorrow. You can either talk about Creighton's last game, which was a 33-16 loss to Tulsa 82 years and 1 day ago, or you can tie your Peter Millar quarter zip around your shoulders and go to the opera.
So you're picking Nebraska?
68 and Nebraska. Creighton 68, Nebraska 69. Nice.
Nice.
I like it. Claus, you be good.
Okay.
All right, back at you tomorrow.